Hi improv friends, Lee the Lone Improviser, here to talk to you about another great improv game. Today's game is word association. It's a part of my series of lessons about improv. I got a link down below to the playlist. While you're down there, you can like, comment, and subscribe. But on to today's game, word association. It's a great game because it gets you familiar with that improv ideal of creativity and freedom. And I think it's a lot of fun. How do you play the game? I'm going to run through how to play the game if you're in a group or if you're a solo improviser, such as myself. If you're in a group, this is an example of a circle game, which means everybody gets together and they form a circle. Or if you're in a video chat, you arrange your icon to the circle. And one person starts off and they say a word. It's an example of a time where that improv adage, any word will do, is really true. Someone just says a word, and then you go one at a time around the circle, and everybody says a word they associate. They free associate. No real rules about what they can say. It's largely the same game if you're a solo improviser. You just remove the mechanic of having other people talk. So you give yourself a word, and then you free associate from there. When you're starting off, I'd recommend letting the game just run as long as it needs to run. You'll probably find at some point your focus kind of drifts. That's when it's time to call it. Or if you want to get a little more complicated, add some competition and some complexity, and I think some excitement to the game, you can add a constraint to it, a time constraint. So for the groups, kind of depends on the size of the groups. I find about 3 to 5 minutes is probably good. And for the solo improviser, I find about a minute is probably good. And in that time constraint, you try to put as many words together as you can and keep a little tally going or a mental count. But the important thing is that that'll get you used to putting words together quickly. Now on to some of my deeper thoughts about the game. I think it's a really good game because it frees you from a lot of the problems that putting together language tends to have. Language, you have a lot of rules, a lot of syntax, a lot of grammar, and those are important for putting together sentences and later on stories, but it's not terribly helpful when you're trying to get used to being creative. So I like that word association allows you to just put words together as you see fit. I also like the time constraint idea because it gets you used to that improv idea that usually your first idea is the right idea. And if you put on a time constraint, you're going to become very aware of where your mind is going. If you tell yourself, we tend to be very suggestible. So if you tell yourself, I need you to associate a word, your subconscious is probably going to pull it off pretty quickly. But then what's going to happen is your conscious mind is going to come in and it's going to pass some judgment on your subconscious mind. And I'm going to encourage you to just let that telling yourself no sort of intrusive thought pass you on by. The time constraint is good because it shows you that you don't really need to tell yourself no. You just need to keep moving, be free, and hopefully have a lot of fun with it. That's the game. I hope you liked it. Mind you to like, comment, and subscribe. As long as you're improving, you're improving.